Historical and Arts Council. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Go to Jail. Today we're going to be in the textile room covering the other half that Miss Sarah didn't cover in the CCHAC. We're going to be with our museum docent and historical interpreter, Molly Seaver, and we're going to talk about the dedication of the Rebecca Scroggs Room and the remaining textile machinery and items in this room of the museum. So stand by. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. We are with Molly Seaver today, our museum docent and historical interpreter, and we are in the Rebecca Scroggs Room. And Molly's going to take us through the rest of the textile area that we didn't cover in the CCHAC interview with Sarah Smith. So Molly, I want to thank you for being here today and explaining all of these, old time tools that they use making textiles. Thank you so much for walking us through here.
You're welcome. This is the Rebecca Scroggs Room. This is her portrait over here. Rebecca was one of the very first founding members of the Historical Society.
I didn't realize that. So she was around when Gertrude Price was
Yes.
She was entailed in all that actual
Yes.
creation of the society.
Yes, she was.
Okay. Was it called the Historical Society originally?
Yes.
Or was it? And it seems like Miss Sarah has mentioned that it was called the Arts. I don't know. Originally, it wasn't supposed to be a museum.
Well, it started 50 years ago. And we didn't get the museum open until the next year.
Right.
So 2025, we're turning 50.
Yeah, stay tuned for that because this spring we're going to have a really big blowout for our 50th anniversary for the museum. I'm going to get behind the camera and let you walk us through some of these textile machinery and stand by. Here's the memorial room for Rebecca Scroggs and her contributions of time and talents to the purpose of this museum. This is Miss Rebecca here. All right, Miss Molly, what you got holding in your hand there?
Wool.
Wool.
I brought this in from a friend of mine in Brasstown who has sheep because I realized so many of the kids did not know what wool was.
Right.
And I had a little boy come in one day and he looked at it and he goes, "It's sheep fur."
He didn't realize where the wool came from, right?
But literally in this room we could go from wool to dress with everything we've got in here.
Okay.
We're starting here. Literally, you're going from sheep, you're shearing. These are hand shears. Then you're carding the wool so it looks like this.
So they literally use that to shear the sheep, those two
Yes.
metal things? And then
Yes.
what's the ones on the left?
Okay, these are cards. These are for getting all the little bits and pieces out and to get it into rolls like this.
Okay.
And then you're going from this to the spinning wheel and you're making this into yarn.
Okay.
And I'm very happy to announce that almost all the kids know what this is,
Nice.
thanks to Walt Disney and Sleeping Beauty.
Right.
Okay, so we go from here to here. This is what they call a flax wheel or weasel. And most people my age know the song "Pop Goes the Weasel."
Right.
And this is where it comes from. Inside the wooden box is a hand-carved wooden clockwork. And as you turn and wind the yarn, you get to a skeins worth and it goes pop.
Oh, you're kidding.
Pop goes the weasel.
I did not realize that. What an interesting piece of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you went from getting it off the sheep to spinning it into a thread?
Into yarn.
Into yarn, and then once you get the yarn, you put it over here, and that rolls it into skeins.
Right.
Okay.
And then we're moving to the loom.
How impressive. How old is this loom?
This is from the 1940s.
1940s, so almost 100-year-old.
And this was from Warren, just down the road from here.
Hold on.
And we have worked...
From Warren, North Carolina?
Yeah, Warren, North Carolina. The big metropolis.
Yes.
Warren, North Carolina. And then you're taking the yarn that you've made, or in this case, they're using sheeting and weaving it back and forth. Now, if you're using this particular loom, they're usually using a shuttle like this that's very thin, that's going to go back and forth on the loom.
Back and forth on the loom for what purpose?
To go back.
Oh, to weave it in and out of the. I see. They would attach it to the end of it somehow.
There are pedals under here that make it go up and down.
Okay.
And then you're pulling this.
I see.
To tighten it.
To get it up against the next one, the last one.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And things like this, I can do pretty much everything from wool to weaving. My weaving skills are poor though, because it's mathematics.
Is it?
I saw the lady who came from the folk school to do this particular pattern. I noticed she had Post-it notes that gave her the pattern.
So it's X amount of rows.
Right.
And then, so to get the little diamonds.
Yes.
That's really neat.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd have thought it was mathematics? That's neat.
Yes.
Really interesting.
Yes. And then, of course, you can go from the loom to the sewing machine. And then we have this sewing machine. This is one of the early Singer models. And a lot of people love to remember this. And you'll see down below that it's a treadle powered. It's people powered.
Amazing. I'm more and more amazed at the ingenuity and the inventions that they did back in the day. You know, it's just so amazing to me.
Well, I like to tell people that this room makes me feel wasteful, because here the people of this time period, they're using the wool, they're using everything. Even the people who are using the feed sacks, they're saving every piece.
Right. Yeah, there was no waste. There was no throwing things away. It was reused. No. Everything was used for something else. Amazing. So about, can you tell us a little bit about the history, like what year this might have come out, where they were getting the wool from the sheep and then using the spinning wheel? What's that circa year there?
As far back as people were living here, you can see in some of the photographs, like the ones right here, and most of these photographs are from the 1940s.
Okay.
And you see.
So they're still in use that soon ago.
Yeah, and you can see they had sheep here back in those days.
So that's pretty recent.
Yeah, 1940s. But the people who were coming to this area were from England, Ireland, Scotland, who have a history of weaving.
Yeah.
And a history of raising sheep.
So they brought it to the Americas.
So they brought it here. And a lot of the people were coming to this area right after the removal of the Cherokee on the Trail of Tears.
Yeah.
So we're talking 1838 up to about 1850.
I'm noticing this vintage dress in the corner. Do you have any information on it?
Okay, this dress, pink and white lace dress, circa 1890s, belonged to Ellen Eliza Scroggs, or most people call her Lizzie. And her family came to this area from Macon County, just across the border in Franklin. And she was a spinster lady. This was not a wedding dress. This was a normal dress. I have to tell the kids that just because Beyonce wears a dress like this is not how it would be worn back then. Back then, I was once told a proper lady wore 7 layers.
Really?
With this dress, you probably would have been wearing a corset, a camisole, and multiple layers of petticoats. Miss Lizzie was one of the original librarians in Hayesville. And
I didn't realize that either.
That was when the library was just like a small room in the courthouse.
Oh, you're kidding.
I think it's now the bathroom downstairs.
Oh, no. So very small.
Yes.
And the couple on the wall, do you know anything about that photo?
They are the Jasper and Rebecca Scroggs.
So this is Rebecca also? Or no, this is Rebecca's
this is ancestors.
from their family.
Yeah.
What a gorgeous frame.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that old frame. And I'm sorry about the reflections. It's hard to get a picture
Yes.
in here because of the glass reflecting. All right,
But the Scroggs family is an old family in this area, especially around Brasstown, because it was the Scroggs family who sold the property to the people to start the folk school.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
You're just a wealth of knowledge. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing this stuff with us.
It's why my kids don't play Trivial Pursuit with me.
Okay, Molly, is there anything else we missed in here that you wanted to remind us about? Any kind of little more tidbits? You just have blown my mind with the knowledge you have. I'm impressed.
I don't know. Have y'all talked about the photographs yet?
We did a little bit in the kitchen, but you can please expound some more on Gideon Laney's photography collection.
Yeah, he had been in World War II, and when he came back, he literally did pictures of friends and family. In fact, there's a little girl whose picture is in the kitchen, and she likes to come in here and visit.
So really, so she's still here. That's amazing.
Yeah. This year she didn't come in. I mean, I have a lot of people who come in every year.
Repeatedly, yeah.
She didn't come in, but her brother came in. David Anderson is her brother. And he said, yes, she wasn't coming in as much because she was getting older, and she's now a great-grandmother.
Great-grandmother.
So that gives you a kind of idea about some of the age.
So how long ago that was? So this was in the 40s?
Yeah.
That he was taking these photos. And it's just daily life. You know, it wasn't really posed pictures like Sarah had mentioned in the kitchen interview.
Yeah.
They weren't really posed. It was like just catching people in everyday life activities. So this collection, the Gideon Laney collection, is throughout the museum. You'll see photos on the wall, and that's what it is. But there is a folder in the kitchen that has, if you notice the number on the print, like this one says number 27, you can go in the kitchen and look in that book and look and see what it says about it. If you ever are here and you see a photo that you know are ancestors of or friends of yours that have ancestors of, and you go look in that book, and it doesn't tell you who those people are, please let Molly know, because we're always updating our information.
Yes.
There's always people coming in and have stories to tell, and we absolutely love that part. So Molly, I just want to thank you today. It was wonderful learning about all these, what do you call these, tools? These tools from early 1900s, I guess.
Well, I like it that for so many years, history was wars and battles.
Right.
And nowadays, you can go online on YouTube and find domestic history.
Right.
And that's what
it's a lot more good news instead of all the bad, yeah.
Yes.
I want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Let's Go to Jail. Again, my name is Tess Thomas. I'm the media representative for Clay County Historical and Arts Council. Please come visit our website. That is clayhistoryartsnc.org. And if you or anyone you know would like to be part of this interview series, please don't hesitate to email me. It's cchac.hazeville@outlook.com. Please find us on our social media platforms. We have a YouTube channel, a Facebook page, an X page, and an Instagram. And please subscribe to us, and that way you don't miss any of our content. So thank you again for coming to jail with us today. We'll see you at the next one.